Do you want to get healthier? Do you want to maintain your health or improve your health? Setting goals is crucial. But what if you struggle to follow through? Then you're in the right place. Stay tuned to learn 3 easy steps to reach your goal to get healthier. I'm Dr. Vicki Petz Casper. I practiced obstetrics and gynecology for 20 years until I landed on the other side of the sheets as a very sick patient. When my own body betrayed me, I took a handful of pills to manage my disease and another handful to counteract the side effects. My health was out of control. Through surgery, medications, and lots of prayers, I regained my strength only to face another diagnosis. My doctor challenged me to make radical changes through lifestyle medicine. Now I feel great and I want to help you make changes that make a difference. Healthy Looks Great on You podcast takes you to many medical schools so you can learn the power of lifestyle medicine. If you're ready to take control of your health, you're in the right place. Whether you're focused on prevention or you're trying to manage a condition, I'll give you practical steps to start your own journey toward better health, because healthy looks great on you. This is episode 136, 3 easy steps to reach your goal to get healthier. Here we go again. You've decided you want to get healthy. Maybe you want to start exercising or eating better, lose a few or maybe even a lot of pounds. You want to sleep better and feel rested and energized. So you get started on your journey to get healthier. And before long, or maybe not so long, you fizzled out. Or maybe you never even got out of the starting gate and you're thinking, good grief, what is wrong with me that I can't get it together? What if I told you you're doing it all wrong? There is a way to succeed and it's not hard. Don't believe me? Well, let me prove it. I'm going to show you 3 easy steps to reach your goal to get healthier. But first, let's talk about what it means to be healthy, because here's the deal. When some people want to get healthy, they mean they want to be able to finish a marathon. And other people mean reduce the number of medications they're taking and get up and move around inside the house. So a lot of it depends on where you're starting from, but the process is still the same. Let me ask you to spend some time thinking about it. What does get healthier mean to you? Seriously, I'd like for you to camp out on this question. And don't just listen to my voice. If you can, I would encourage you right now to push pause on this podcast and brainstorm some thoughts about what it means to you to get healthier. And then come back. I'll be here when you're finished. Thanks for coming back. I'm still here. It's great if you had some time to think about what getting healthy means to you. You've definitely taken a step in the right direction. And if you didn't, don't skip this step. Even if you're driving or something right now and you can't push pause, sometime today, I want you to sit down and think about what it means to you to get healthier. Because I hear it all the time. I want to be healthy. What does that mean? Because I could give you a textbook definition of healthy. It just literally means to be in good health. Okay. That isn't much clearer, is it? No, it's not. So while I've got you on the hot seat answering questions, let me ask you this. How would you know if you are healthier? That brings it into a little bit clearer perspective, doesn't it? You see, if you can't define it and you can't measure success, then it's really not a plan. It's an idea. It's a hope. I hope my blood pressure gets better and I don't have a heart attack or a stroke. Or I hope I can stay on a diet and fit into that dress that's too small. Or I hope I can sleep better and feel rested. Well, I hope so too, but I'm pretty sure it's hard to achieve goals that are so broad and so vague, because If you don't know exactly what you mean by get healthy, then I'm confused about what your goal is, and you really aren't clear either. I know it's hard. It's hard to stay on a diet or be faithful to an exercise program or have good sleep habits or manage your stress or be intentional about meaningful connections and cut back or eliminate your alcohol intake or sugar or junk food. So, what is it? Specifically, what is it that you are trying to accomplish when you say, I want to get healthier? And I hear a lot of people say, well, I want to be able to keep up with my kids or my grandkids so that I can play with them. And other people say, I don't want to be like my mom. She was confined to the recliner for the last 10 years of her life due to poor health, and I don't want to turn out like that. Okay, those are great motivators, but they aren't really specific goals either. But let's sit in that for just a minute, because you should always, always, always know your why. Why do you want to get healthier? Because once you figure that out, you can use it to motivate you to make changes that lead to better health. So if you want to get out and play with your kids or your grandkids, or you don't want to turn out like your mom who sat in a recliner and couldn't get around the house, those are things that should motivate you to want to get healthier, but there's even more to explore. Like, when are you going to play with your kids or grandkids? When are you going to avoid spending all day in your pajamas? Because you see, those aren't really precise either. Too many things we think we just don't have enough motivation or persistence or willpower or self-discipline to achieve our goals. Or we get sidelined by ever-present stress in our lives, or we just slip back into old habits and give up. But what set us up for failure in the first place was we didn't know exactly where we were going. You have to have a clear destination in mind, a clear goal in the first place if you're going to achieve success. Since I use the word destination, let me put it another way. When I think of destination, I think of vacation because I love to travel. So let's just say you want to go to the beach and you're going to invite me to join you. Please, 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 let's do it. Okay, that's good. So you're going to the beach, but that doesn't really tell me where you're going, does it? I mean, are you planning to visit the French Riviera? Because I'll need a passport for that. Or are you going to the rocky coast of California? Or the East Coast, gazing out over the Atlantic? Well, if you're like the majority of people around where I live, you're going to the Gulf of Mexico to those white sandy beaches. There's nothing like the Emerald Coast. I can just picture it now. Miles and miles of white beaches with people in beach chairs with umbrellas and kids making sandcastles. Okay, I have a special superpower about making sandcastles. I make a sand woman. It is the cutest thing you've ever seen. I make her feet first, and I use my sandals so that she's got on little flip-flops, and then I shape the legs with a little kneecap, and I put on a skirt, and I always make her a belly button. And then I use shells or something for the top of her bathing suit, and I make arms. And if I can find a can on the beach, I'll put that in one hand, and just to be funny, sometimes I put a cigarette in the other hand if I found one on the beach. And then the face is the hardest part, but I usually use shells and seaweed, and the hair looks really cool if you make seaweed. So I have this special sand woman that I make. So when I get there, let's do that because it's really fun. Oh, wait. We're not really going to the beach, are we? This was just an analogy. Okay, back to the goals. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So you've decided you're going to the Emerald Coast in the Gulf of Mexico. That sounds great. I'll meet you there. Oh, wait. The Gulf of Mexico and the Emerald Coast covers 100 miles. And it's in 2 states, Florida and Alabama. See, I told you you needed a very specific destination. Otherwise, I might be sitting in Perdido Key and you'd be in Pensacola. So you have to nail down exactly what your goal is. Let's say it's Destin. Okay, now we have a specific city and a specific state, but when are you going again? Because if you saved me a beach chair, I can't join you unless I know when you're going and I have specific directions to get there. See, I live in Arkansas, so I guess you would tell me that if you're going to Destin, I should just drive to Florida. And that, my friends, is usually how we approach a goal to get healthier. We say, I want to go to the beach. I need to get there. But in reality, if I'm driving from Arkansas to Florida, I'm going to need a little more detail. And if you're going to get from wherever your current health is to wherever you want it to be, you're going to need details too. Lots of them. So start with nailing down the destination. Do you want to get your blood pressure normal? Do you want to be able to run a 5K? Do you want to lose 5 pounds? Do you want to sleep through the night? Get clear and get specific, and then get more specific. Lifestyle medicine has 6 pillars: nutritional eating, restorative sleep, physical fitness, social connectedness, stress management, and minimizing exposure to harmful substances. Think of that as the different states you can visit or the different beaches you could visit, and then pick one to really work on and start drilling down to get to the city that you want to end up in. And yes, they're all interconnected. If you want to lose weight, then not only do you need to focus on nutrition and physical fitness, you also need to focus on your social circles and your restorative sleep and managing your stress. They are interconnected, there is no doubt, but you likely will not be able to make sweeping changes all at once. You need a specific destination, and you need directions on how to get from here to there. And that can't mean I want to get healthier, so I'm going to clean up my diet and exercise, because if you gave me those kinds of directions to the beach, I might end up in New Jersey. And I know they've got beaches up there too, but you get what I'm talking about. If you don't know where you're going, I guarantee you, you will never arrive. And that's what happens to most people. And here's the deal. When it comes to health, who arrives? I mean, health is a journey with mountains and valleys along the way and twists and turns and detours you didn't expect. And there's no real destination because our bodies all end up in the same place, and that's a little morbid to think about. So let's get back to that beach umbrella. To review, I'm driving from Arkansas to Destin to join you on the beach. But if you're laying on the beach in the Caribbean, I'm not going to go in my car because that's too far, and there's this little puddle of water between here and there that I can't drive through. So if you say I have this disease or that disease and I'm going to be fully healed, well, best wishes to you, but ask yourself, is that realistic? Because it's not realistic for me to drive from Arkansas to the Caribbean, and it may not be realistic for you if you've been diabetic for 10 years and you're 25 pounds overweight and nobody at the gym knows your name, that you're going to have complete reversal of your diabetes in a month. It's too far away. And you'd be setting yourself up for failure and disappointment. And then you'd say, I tried, and it didn't work. And really what you tried to do was never going to work. So it's important to set a goal that you know, that you're absolutely confident you can reach. And I know you may say, oh, Dr. Vicki, I've tried and failed every time and I have no confidence in myself at all. Then start small. Nope. Smaller than that. Nope. Even smaller than that. Now, if you're someone who has seen success in making changes, changing your identity maybe, and seeing yourself as a healthy person and developing healthy habits, then you might be able to set a bigger goal and take a bigger bite. But if you're disgusted with yourself because you always quit, then do a reality check and set a goal you can reach. Set a goal that wouldn't surprise you if you reached it. It wouldn't even surprise your friends or family if you reached it. Here's what I mean. If I'm going to go from Arkansas to Florida, I know I got to drive through Mississippi and Alabama before I get to Florida. I can't just say, I'm going to drive to Florida and skip all the steps in between. You can't do that with your health either. So once you have a clear goal, a clear destination, you know where you're going, you have a clear plan on how to get there, the next step is to define the steps. Because if you say, well, you got to drive through Mississippi and Alabama and then you'll be in Florida, I might end up in Biloxi, and I don't need to go through Biloxi. I need to go through Greenville and Yazoo City and Hattiesburg and Mobile and Pensacola before I get to Destin. So what are the tiny steps you need to start taking to head to the beach? And if you're going on vacation, you have to do some prep work too. You need to put gas in your car. You need to make sure that it's running smoothly, and you're going to have to pack a bag. If you're going to succeed in reaching your destination and achieving your health goal, you're going to need to do some prep work there too. But let's just say you've done all that and you're ready to get in your car and drive. What's the next turn you need to make? What is the next tiny step you need to take to get to the beach? Do you need to wake up 10 minutes early every day and take a brisk walk? I'm talking about heart rate at 140, arms pumping, feet pounding the pavement. Or do you need to do some prep work and clean out your freezer and cabinets and refrigerator and get rid of all the ice cream and cake and cookies? Do you just need to power down your TV and computer and smartphone an hour earlier so you can get some more restorative sleep? Do you need to put salt substitute in the salt shaker? Do you need to add more fiber to your diet so you don't get hungry and eat everything you can get your hands on in the heat of the moment? And by the way, if that's your answer, I have a free download on fiber and where you can find it. And so this would probably be a good time to tell you that I offer lots of resources to my listeners who are on my email list. You can go to healthylooksgreatonyou.com to sign up, and I'll put a link in the show notes. There's also several episodes on all the lifestyle medicine pillars that you'll probably find helpful in helping you get to your destination. But do you see how specific these steps are and how small they are? They're not the goal. They're steps that move you toward your goal. They're the cities you're going to pass through on the way to your destination. Now, you've probably heard of the term SMART goals, but we're going to review it anyway because it's such a foundation for developing good habits. S stands for specific, and we've kind of harped on that. M stands for measurable. Remember at the beginning I said, how are you going to measure that? A stands for achievable. We've talked about that as well. R stands for relevant. Like if you're going to try to lower your blood pressure, putting salt substitute in the salt shaker is relevant to achieving your goal. And then T is time-bound. Nothing, and I mean nothing, motivates me more than a deadline. So give yourself a deadline. If you need to do some prep work and get your pantry cleaned out and your refrigerator cleaned out and go to the store and buy some different healthy foods to stock it with, then do that. But give yourself a deadline and make sure you've done it before the day you're supposed to leave for the trip. Now, once you have a deadline, let's go put our toes in the sand and soak up some rays. We all need a timetable. You can actually put this on your calendar. I put everything in my calendar on my phone. If I think I need to eat oatmeal on Monday morning to fill my belly up with some fiber so I don't get hungry at 10 o'clock in the morning and go looking for a Pop-Tart, then you know what? I can put that in my phone on my calendar. Eat a bowl of oatmeal. Right there on my calendar. I check it every day. It's more efficient and it works better than putting something on your to-do list. Now, I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. You need to celebrate your wins and you need to mark your progress. And don't celebrate your win with something that's contrary to your goal. In other words, if you go a whole week eating only whole food, don't reward yourself with processed and junk food, but reward yourself. And just celebrate. Celebrate your wins. Some people use chips. We talked about in our episode on unwinding pain, putting paper clips together. This is an important concept in the recovery world for people who are trying to quit smoking or trying to quit drinking, and they celebrate how many days of abstinence they've gotten to. But here's the deal. Sometimes you're going to fall off the wagon, whether it's having a drink when you had planned not to, or grabbing that bowl of ice cream right before you go to bed when you had sworn off ice cream. Listen, give yourself a little bit of grace. If I'm going to Alabama and I need to stop and spend the night, I'm still closer to my destination than when I started. So I'm not going to cry into my pillow and say, oh, I didn't get to test and I'm only in Alabama. Yeah, I didn't get there yet, but I've made some progress. So I want you to celebrate your progress and give yourself some grace. And also understand this. There are unexpected detours on the way. And if I get to Mississippi and they say, you can't go south, you've got to go north and you've got to go all the way around this construction, then I have to do it. But just because you're on a detour doesn't mean you're not heading in the right direction. And what about accountability? Yes, we all know how critical accountability is. If I'm going to Florida on Wednesday of next week and I know somebody's going with me, I'm more likely to have my car packed and ready to go and leave on time. So if you can get someone in your life to give you accountability, that's fantastic. And you can celebrate your success with them as well. I have a course called 7-Day Prescription for Change. It has a downloadable workbook and it's all free. And you get an email with a little bit of homework every day to help you work through some things like ambivalence. You know, those feelings of, I want to do this, but I want to do that. And those things keep us from changing. We need to learn a little bit about our own selves and our behavior if we're going to make changes. And some techniques like habit stacking, where every single day I know I'm going to put on my socks. So I can put a set of hand weights in front of my sock drawer and say, I'm not going to open that drawer until I do 10 bicep curls. Just little things like that you connect habits together are powerful ways to help you achieve success. And if you need accountability from a professional state, then you can visit my website, equilibriumtelehealth.com. I have a medical practice where I help patients one-on-one. But I believe you can get to the beach or wherever it is you want to go by following 3 easy steps to get healthier. Number 1, set a small, specific, achievable goal that you can start moving towards tomorrow. Know your destination clearly. Hey, take a picture when you get there. And if you can't picture it in full color, keep painting until you know exactly where you're going. Number 2 is start heading there. Get in your car and drive. And here's how I want you to do it. I want you to identify 3 very small things that you know you can do every single solitary day to help you move forward. Not, I'm going to get to Florida in 10 minutes. You can't do that if you live where I live. No, I want you to say, I'm going to start my engine and put my foot on the gas pedal and look at my map and know where I'm going. 3 little steps that you know you can do every single day. And again, if you fall off the wagon, give yourself some grace. Don't stop the trip because you had to take a detour. Never, ever, ever stop moving forward. And then when you've seen success in those 3 areas, celebrate it and set 3 more steps that keep moving you in the right direction. Now, number 3, and this, we haven't talked about it yet, but this is the single most impactful thing that will help you get from here to there. Once you know where you're going, and once you have all the street names and directions to get there, this will make more difference than anything else. Write it down. Writing it down increases your chances for success by 50%. I mean, how easy is that? Just write it down. And better yet, write it down and share it with someone, because then you've got a little accountability. You know, this episode is almost over and we haven't even been to mini medical school. But let's step into the neuroscience classroom for just a minute and talk about why writing down your goals makes so much difference. You see, there is this biological process that's called encoding. We receive sensory input from our sense of smell, sight, touch, taste, and sound. And all of these things travel into our brain into an area known as the hippocampus. And that's where they're sort of analyzed and we make decisions about what we're going to store and what we're going to just forget about. And when we write something down, we're using another sense. We're not only using our eyes because we see it, but we're using the sense of touch because we're writing it. And if we say it out loud, then we're adding an auditory component. And all of this adds to the importance that our hippocampus attaches to what we're doing. And that stores it deeper in our memory. It encodes it more specifically into our brain. That's why the smartest people you know always take notes when they're attending a lecture or some type of seminar. So get out your pencil and write down those goals. Encode it in your brain, and you'll be more likely to succeed. Those 3 steps are a formula for success, whether you're driving to the beach or you just want to feel great when you get there. Healthy is a journey. It's not a destination, but it's worth the time and effort and investment to get healthy, because healthy looks great on you. The information contained in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not considered to be a substitute for medical advice. You should continue to follow up with your physician or healthcare provider and take medication as prescribed. Though the information in this podcast is evidence-based, new research may develop and recommendations may change.